Okay. So what happened next was this doctor said, okay, I'm going to start things in a roll. She said, I'm going to arraign the oncologist and get things going for you. So what happened next is we came home and you decided this is, I come home, I called all my family. I said, well, I wasn't going to hide it from them. I called the children, I called my brothers and your sisters, and you called your family, and we told everybody. Okay, and this is where things changed for us right there, because you just said, we need somebody. We need prayer.
Mm-hmm.
So she contacted
The neighbor.
the neighbor. No, not yet.
No?
Not yet. No.
Oh,
Gordon
yeah.
Williams.
Because of my Gordon Williams arthritis healing
So-
in 1980
That's right. And you tried to contact the Gordon Williams.
Association.
Yeah.
And they sent us towards calling somebody named Christine.
Yes.
What's her last name? Fisher.
Yes. Tina
in
Fisher.
BC.
Pastor Christine.
And she prayed with us.
Wonderful prayer. I mean, that gave me the hope, peace. That there was, there was something more than just what the doctors had told me. And it was, the way things fall together, it has to be God. It has to be. For that to come into for you to contact her, them to get a hold of her, she prayed with us. The second that she hung up from us, the oncologist called me. We were still just finishing her call, and bang, the oncologist called me. He said, I wanted you to go pick up these pills, start these pills. I want to meet you in 10 days. I'm going to send you to Halifax. I want you to meet the chemotherapy guy, and I want you to meet the radiologist. And, things were moving. And I did have hope, even though I was popping 26 morphine pills a day, I think it was.
Yeah, it was 5 at a time.
5 at a time, multiple times a day, just to cut the edge off. The pain was so excruciating. What a car drive that was to Halifax. It was, it's 3 hours there and 3 hours back. We drove up on the Monday and saw the chemotherapist guy. And he basically said, you're not going to survive the chemo yet. You're not good enough health. We're going to wait. Wait for what?
To die.
I only had days, weeks to live.
I know.
But it was God's will. I didn't want to do chemo. I didn't. I was just, I didn't know what to do, what to think. And we were supposed to meet the radiologist the same day, but they didn't arrange the appointments properly. So we had to drive all the way home after meeting the chemo guy. And so it was 3 hours up, 3 hours back, 3 hours up the next day, which I thought I was going to see the radiologist. Meanwhile, they took me into the radiation room. I couldn't get up on the table. They had to get 3 people to come in to lift me up because I couldn't do it, to get me up on the table. I was hunched over with canes. I couldn't walk. They got me up on the table, and they had to tie me in a position because I couldn't hold myself. And they put tattoos on me. There's 5 tattoos on my body. I had no idea. Nobody explained anything to me. I had no idea what was going on.
Mm.
And I thought I was there to see the radiologist, which I never did see.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, okay, you can go home. I said, well, what are you going to do? They said, nothing. He said, that was weird, just to make an alignment. Because they haven't decided what they can do for you for radiation yet. And we went home again.
Mm-hmm.
I was to go back in 3 days for radiation treatment.
I thought it was a week. No?
Maybe it was. I'm not sure. Some of these dates,
it might have
because
been exactly a week.
This is 2 years going on now. I think I'm up to 27 scans, and in between X-rays and scans and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard to keep track of all this. I do have it written down somewhere. So we came home, and I know I had to go back.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, the pain was still horrendous. I was just popping pills like crazy. Excuse me. You said we needed more prayer.
So I went over and asked the neighbor.
No,
No?
not yet.
Still not?
Not yet.
Oh my goodness.
Your brother-in-law, my brother-in-law, your brother,
Okay, JB. Okay.
called. He has a friend named Dave.
Oh yes, right.
And of all things, I think we were sitting in the parking lot of the No Frills. Oh my, just a second. And his friend Dave prayed with me over the phone.
Mm-hmm.
Gave me more encouragement. I was feeling more strength. Every time somebody else prayed for me, I felt, okay, right.
And I still had the peace. I didn't know what was going to happen, but I
No,
still had the peace.
Yeah, you were calm. You were keeping me going. You were taking care of me like a wonderful nurse.
Yeah.
But when you came home from that, and it was getting to the day before I had to go back to Halifax,
Mm-hmm.
that's
when I went to the neighbor.
That's when you went to the neighbor.
Okay, and said, I need somebody to pray over him.
Yeah.
Because only God
We've only been here for a
help
year.
us.
We didn't know anybody. We hadn't been to church here. We hadn't even thought about church.
So anyway, so he got, well, you know the rest.
Yeah, so he said, I know somebody.
Mm-hmm.
I said, what? He said, I'll call them. And that was in the afternoon. After 6 o'clock that night, Joey, Jeff, and Steve Gorham, the guy from the other area, those three guys came here that night and prayed with me, laid hands on me, and prayed. I was hunched over in pain. I couldn't sit down. I couldn't stand up. I was leaning up against the fridge, and they were praying for me. The canes went on the floor. I stood up. It felt like I was coming off the floor. The pain was cut in half. I could stand it. I mean, it was just day and night. And I mean,
And Joey wouldn't stop until all the pain
he
was
wouldn't
gone.
stop. He went on for hours. He was here for hours and hours praying with me.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't know me from a hole in the ground. We never met these people before. To understand that they would do that for a stranger was wonderful. So we went back to Halifax the next day. And we were in the waiting room.
Yes,
And I left. They called me in.
yes.
And I went to and what happened?
There was somebody in the waiting room, and they had seen us. I don't remember anyone, but they had seen us before.
The few days before that, I went up for the first
Yes,
meeting.
they said, how's the person doing you were here with the other day? And I said, that was him. And they said, no, that's not him. He was all crippled up and couldn't walk. And I said, that's him. And I told them what happened. I told them that God had taken the pain away, and
And I
they
walked.
couldn't believe it. They were like, wow. And when they called them in short time after and said,
So when I went into the room, they had 3 people already there for me because they knew that and I said, that's all right. And I hopped up onto the table myself, and they all just looked at me. And they, like, their mouths were open. I said, God did that. And they were amazed. But long story short, they said, you have too many cancer lesions for us to x-ray, to do the radiation treatment. They're all around your organs, they're everywhere. We can't, your body can't handle that. So all they were going to do is do a strip down my back and across my pelvis to help with the pain. And they said, I forget how long it took, but they said, you'll be fine, there's no side effects.
God.
Wow. I almost made it home. We were about...
Yes, you,
I know, because I'm Mr.
Macho, had to drive.
Had to drive, and we got about half an hour from home. 2.5 hour, 3 hour drive, and about half an hour from home. It hit me. I was so sick. I was terrible. I was going to pass out. It was terrible pain. I got in the door. I think I collapsed on the floor. I don't know if I even made it on the bed. I might
I
have.
think you made it on the bed.
I mean,
That
it was
lifted.
horrific pain. And that's another section of this story.
they said to put lotion on the burn, you know.
Yeah, we did
So we put
before and
lotion
after
on it.
too, and
Yeah.
castor oil and lotion and try to take care of it.
That might have been when I put the frankincense on too.
Yeah.
Because something took some of the pain away. And then I prayed for the pain. I didn't think I could do healing or pray for healing and have it.
But
have the
after
Holy
those
Spirit
guys being
work.
here and praying, you felt
Yes.
encouraged that you could do
Yes.
it.
So I started doing that, and that helped.
Yeah. Yeah. So then I started in this thing, starting to look this up and understanding what I went through without telling anybody. And at this time I was working on an old truck, and I had stripped right to the frame. This is as far as I got.
Oh, yes.
And God came and spoke to me in a voice. And he said to me, I know your name, as a shepherd knows his sheep. My last job before I moved here, strangely enough, I was a shepherd. I worked for my son on his farm, and we had 1,000 sheep. And I mean, it was just to hear his voice, to say that to me, it shattered me. It shattered me. Why me? What have I done? Why was I worthy? Why did you save me from hell? Why? And it was just bubbling up, all this kind of stuff. And he said, to use a truck for him. I didn't know what it meant. And I said, the truck that I'm building. And he said, which truck? How did that work?
No. You said, can I do something?
Yes, what can I do for you? What do you want me to do, Lord?
He said, can I name the truck for you or something?
Yes. And he gave you the name.
Yeah, about a half an hour later, it came into my head, call it To God's Glory.
And you took a marker, and I remember you wrote right on the
'cause
table.
I have no short-term memory, so I put To God's Glory on the
To God's
table
glory,
and a marker.
right on the table. And he said, I don't know how the word works, it made me so upset sometimes, excited. I don't know what the emotions are just bubbling over what's going on. I mean, it was just unbelievable. And I went up and down. My emotions were up and down. I was all over the place. That he would touch me. That he would speak to me. That he would, why me? I'm a nobody. I'm in the middle of nowhere here. We're remote. We don't know people. How could he use us? And I just knew it in my heart that this is what we were supposed to do. And this is where our lives were starting to change for God. I was doing a lot of research on near-death experiences. I was battling with demons at night. I was having horrific nightmares. I didn't realize I was battling the demons of oppression, spirit of death, because I kept believing what they were telling me. God said he had a reason for me to be here. The doctors were saying I shouldn't be here. I shouldn't be able to walk. I shouldn't be able to thrive. But we were just doing the videos, and we forgot.
Yeah, we forgot about
some of the important stuff.
Yes, what the Holy Spirit said to me when he said about the name of the truck. Before that, he said, right before that, he said, I have snatched him from the brink. And that got me. Snatched him from the brink.
I know.
The brink of death.
I know, to think that why? 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 I mean, that's why it has changed our faith so much.
Yes.
As this story changes, you'll see the change in us. People don't even recognize us anymore. Our families think we're gone nuts.
Yeah, we're a little into the Lord.
I know, and you'll see the difference in our faith story as we go along.
Lots has happened since then.
Yeah.
We've learned a lot. We've learned more than we ever learned in our lives.
I know, in a short period of time.
Yeah.
I wish we had learned this many years ago.